Natty Bo too.
What's that?
Natty Bo.
Yeah, Natty Bo. Well, it depends. Depends on what other beers I've had already. So.
Dosaki.
Dos Equis is good.
Good. Dosaki is really good.
good.
Yeah.
So. All right. So what I'll do is I'll ask you guys to write this symbolically. Okay. So. And then also what I'll ask you guys to do is I'll ask you guys to write the negation of this as well.
In the same question, or would that be?
Yeah, I'll just make it the same thing. It'll probably be worth 5 points. So 2.5 for writing it symbolically, 2.5 for writing the negation. All right. We have the multiple quantifier stuff. So what I'll probably do with the multiple quantifier is I'll give you guys the multiple quantifier statement. You translate it to English, and then you write the negation of it. Okay. So, like for instance today, and I don't know if this is the same one we did today, but for all x in I, there exists y in I such that xy in q. Okay. I'd ask you guys to do two things. I'd ask you guys to write this in a sentence, and then also to write the negation symbolically. So literally, guys, like one of the problems that we just took a look at not too long ago, okay, today, that would be fair game. I think I forgot to put, I know we did this earlier, but remember we talked about like, what is it, counterexample and existence and exhaustion, where I give you guys like a domain and you have to prove one of the statements using that. So somewhere up in here, I'll probably give it to you like before all this stuff. But let's say I give you guys the domain D is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would ask you to either prove or disprove that for all x in D, 2x in Z even, or I might say there exists x in D such that x greater than 1 over x. Okay, so something like that. Okay, hopefully not too difficult. Okay. And then the last problem I'll ask you guys to do is I'll ask you guys to do something with either the Venn diagrams or the universal modus ponens or Tollens. Okay, so it's one of the two. Okay, so either Venn diagram slash universal modus ponens, modus tollens. Okay. All right, so that should be enough to keep you guys busy for a while at least. So I'll give you guys a minute to copy all that stuff down. But I don't think anything up there we haven't gone through or you guys haven't had for homework. So like I said, I'm not trying to trick anybody. You know, I mean, it is what it is. All right, so questions about the content of the examination before I do answer like a couple questions for people pertaining to.
Let's say 2x in Z.
Oh, 2x is in Z even. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to scratch it down and get it out of the way. Okay.
So is this going to be like an open book, open instructor, or open neighbor?
For
For help?
No. Well, actually, you can use your neighbor, but you both get zeros.
Oh, okay.
So feel free to do that if you want to. It'll make it really easy for me to grade it. You can also use open book, and once again, you get a 0 for that.
What about open instructor? 100?
Well, then I'll start giving you wrong answers. So yeah, you can use me if you want, but I wouldn't trust my answers necessarily. Okay. So like I said, guys, the things you can use for the examination, okay? So for materials, you can use one 3x5 note card. Okay, you could use both sides of that. I don't care what you guys write on there. You can write examples. You guys can write whatever you want. Okay, but it has to be handwritten, and it can't be photocopied. So it has to be handwritten in your own handwriting. Okay, so and I will ask you guys to submit that as well. Okay, and then you can
Give
use,
that to you?
what's that?
I have to give that to you?
Yeah, what I'll do is I staple everything together, so that way for the final, it's all in one place for you guys to study for, okay?
So
Because the
write
final's
small
cute.
enough so you can't read it?
Oh, sure, that's fine. I mean, if you guys can read this, I can read whatever you put together, okay? So, and then also, guys, you can use the rules of inference sheet, and the Boolean algebra sheet, so I would definitely bring that, so. Boolean laws / rules of inference sheet.
We can't have anything written on that, though, right?
No, and if you do have, well, I mean, it depends on what's written on there. Like, if you have your name on there, that's fine. If you have, like, puppy dog tails on there, that's fine. But if you start having stuff that, like, you know, that would help you on that, then I'd ask you to print out a new copy of that, okay? And what I'll do is I'll go around and look at everybody's before the test, just to make sure it's legit, okay? And then also, guys, make sure you bring paper to do the problems on. What I give you is I just give you guys like the exam, and I don't even look at the exam for anything. So if you write all of your answers on the exam, then you just got a 0. So you don't want to do that. So make sure you bring paper, calculator, bribes.
Goseki?
Yeah, Dos Equis works nicely. Okay. Money works well. You know, whatever. What's that? Make sure it's in an envelope if it's money though. So, okay. So, any other questions, guys, I can answer particular to what's going to be on the exam and that sort of stuff? Okay. So I did have 2 questions that you guys asked me to work. So Donnie, you want me to work one of the Boolean algebra
I
ones?
think it was 3.
Okay. And that's fine. And then I'll work. By the way, I am working through the solutions to the exam because of the exam review. I've had many people ask about it. And I told some of you guys that today was borderline between insane and suicidal, so I apologize that I haven't gotten to it. But it's pretty bad, like, you know, when your boss tells you that you have a 2 o'clock appointment at 1:45, and she just made it up. And that's during my office hour. And then my girlfriend gets in a car accident, you know, all within a 20-minute span. Ha 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 ha.
Sorry to hear that.
Funny day. Yeah, it's been a great day. Awesome. Yeah, real fun.
Did you look this up?
What's that?
Did you look up the question?
I have not. I'm sorry. I will post that on Blackboard. The problem I made up has nothing to do with that. Okay, so
As long as we don't need
right.
that one.
I will not screw you guys with that question. I promise. Okay. All right, Donnie, can you read that all for me, and then I'll go ahead and kill it for you.
Parenthesis,
Mhm.
P and parenthesis, not P, or Q, parenthesis, or P and Q.
And it's supposed to be equal to P, hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. All right, and maybe some of you guys worked through this already. All right. Donnie, I'll ask you, how did you start that?
I didn't start.
You didn't start it. Okay, well that might be a good thing that you didn't do it wrong.
You had
Okay.
to name them.
Yeah, I understand.
No, in the,
Okay, just take one out.
well, it kind of matters which one you take out.
Okay, well, take out the one that doesn't belong.
The
Does
one,
that make sense?
Your answer can vary depending on which one you take out.
the first you do the
Take out the
parentheses.
one that makes the answer right. That's all you do. You know I'm messing with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Regardless of the number of parentheses, can somebody tell me what they did to start this?
Yeah, P and P
Mhm.
or not Q. Double negation. Double negative plus De Morgan.
De Morgan's. Okay, so start by, Donnie, always work inside. Okay, think about like order of operations. You can use De Morgan's law right here, and you can write this as Pn quantity, not P, N Q, and the rest of it doesn't get changed. Okay, so this is, I'm just going to say Dm for De Morgan. If you guys want to couple this with the double negative law like you did, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so I don't have any problem with that.
Wouldn't the Q be negative as well?
Yeah, it would be. I'm sorry, just be a copier, or he didn't be a copier, just a logic error. Thank you, sir. Sorry about that. And then you guys can use your double negative right here. Okay, so this would be quantity Pn not Q, or P and Q supposedly equals P. Okay, so that's your double negative. So dn.
Then associative P and P.
Yeah, for this, and before I actually do it, okay, one of the things I've been telling students that have been coming to my office for help with this stuff is look at the symbols that go in between them, okay? there's only so many different ways that you can write this stuff with the symbols. So my suggestion would be to look for some sort of law that has two ands in succession. Or if it was like something else, maybe an and and an or maybe an or and an and, okay? Guys, if you have three things, it's either going to be associative or it's going to be distributive. Okay, that's the only two it could be. And because they're the same symbol, you can use the associative law. You can move your parentheses over. So this is going to be P and P, and not Q. Or
P and Q.
P and Q is equal to P. Okay, so that's your associative law.
Idempotent or whatever.
Yeah. and you guys can see like that if you have P and P, like if I have black marker and black marker, it's black marker. So this is idempotent. So you have P and P is just P. So now we can lose one of those layers of parentheses. So we have P and not Q, or P and Q. Don, you okay so far with this? I'm not going too fast or too slow? Okay. And that's our idempotent law. I just realized I wrote S on the board.
That's what I was laughing at.
Ass up. If that makes it any better. Now this is, I think this might be one of the sneakiest parts of the problem.
This is distributive.
Right, this is where you guys have to notice that it follows the form and or and. And there's only one possible law that follows and or and. That's the distributive property. So see how you have like this common P and right here? You're going to factor out the P and, okay? Just like factoring a GCF. And you would be left with not Q or Q. So that would be equal to P, okay? So that's your distributive law. Well, it's reverse distributive law.
Then commutative.
You don't have to use the commutative if you don't want to, but yeah, like to get it to match the worksheet, you'd have to use commutative.
Okay.
If you wanted to skip that commutative step, you could see that, I think it's the negation law, not Q, or not P, or P, or P, or not P. Isn't that, it's tautology?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this would become P and tautology is equal to P. That's our negation law, I believe. And then P and T should be equal to P. And that's the identity law, right guys? Okay. So, like I said, I think that's one of the harder problems on the examination to me, just because, you know, it's not numerically based, so. Does that help out a little bit?
that's all right.
Okay, and there's not too many parentheses in that for your license. Should I shine your shoes, sir? Should I wash your car? Should I give you a back rub, sir? Anything else I can help you with? I'm just completely messing with you.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. And then you wanted me to do one of the rules of inference problems, correct me?
Yes.
Okay, will do. Did you have one on the exam review, or maybe somebody has an exam review that I could
The
pull up?
one on the exam review is one of the same as went over in class.
Gotcha, okay, so that wouldn't help too much.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering if there's one on the textbook online that I can pull off, that we haven't done before. So let me look at that real quick. So you can write this on the teacher evaluation. Instructor utilizes the textbook. There we go. Once in class, but
Does not know how to more pop.
what are you squawking about? I'm gonna make up a special exam just for you. It's gonna say Donnie's exam. And the first word of every statement is gonna be prove. Everything's gonna be prove.
And everyone's gonna say, prove you get a 0.
By the way, did you grade the homeworks?
I did, yep, I'll give them back. Let me do this, and then I'll give back the assignments.
So you must have done it today because I didn't see anything last night.
What's that? I just posted the grades today.
Oh, okay, good.
I meant to come up here on Saturday, but couldn't do it.
Dedication died on Saturday.
Yeah.
That was me on Sunday. My wife,
Actually-
are you gonna do anything today? I said, no.
Sleep. Yeah, ignore you. Does that count? It's probably not the answer you wanted to hear. Hey, there we go. Finally. Sorry, guys. All right, so, we didn't do one like 44, did we? Boy, that one's ugly. Let's do that one. That looks like fun. Okay, I'll go through it fairly quickly because I do want to make sure we have enough time to. P implies Q, R or S.
What page is that?
Not S implies not T. See, I could have given you guys much worse problems. Not Q or S. Not S. Not P or and R. Implies U, W or T. Jeez, this never ends. U and W. All right. So, the first, what I always suggest is start with the easiest thing. Okay, guys, isn't? Oh, how many?
Yeah, 4 and parking.
Sold.
Tonight.
Sold. How much do you? Shut up. You get your greedy little hands on my ticket.
4 and the C-Lot. My recommendation is C-Lot gets you out faster at the end, but.
My recommendation is I'm going to blow a lot of money in my own beer.
Oh, that's the other thing. If you can use 4, use them all. Otherwise, sell the other 2
Oh yeah, I already do that.
for $35 and then you get 2 racks.
Yes, but I don't want to sit next to some jerk off. So.
That's true. You
Okay.
gotta think about who you sell them to, because then
That's
you'll be
true.
sitting next to them.
Okay.
Hey.
Winner, winner.
Yeah,
Thank you.
have a blast.
I will.
I know,
Lucky
and
enough.
bring home a victory or else don't bother coming in tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Wow.
Is that your boss?
No. Sorry. Okay. Start with the easiest thing. Okay?
R and S, not S.
Yeah, so I think the easiest thing to do is start with not Q and or S. We have not S. So we could use this one. Okay.
Then elimination.
And by elimination,
No.
if you don't have one of them, you have to have the other one. So that would have to be not Q by
Not Q.
elimination.
Then you have to do R and S also.
Okay. Yeah, you can also use this one as well. So I don't want you guys thinking that you can't reuse the premises. Okay. So notice we have R or S. We have not S. So we have R